Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We are just heading into Game 3 ESC versus British Tea Time. This is the Challenger Series. I am Spuddington, and now I am joined by Metas.
Hello, Spud. How you doing?
Decently well, decently well. That last game went on for 50 minutes, and it was pretty damn close, I think I can safely say. So, yeah, very nicely done indeed, and I believe we are going into Champion Select.
We are into the picks and bans, Spud, and ladies and gents. The first game was also incredibly close, lots and lots of action throughout, and fairly standard bans right from the get-go. Thresh, considered OP support right now, taken out first alongside the Elise. So pretty much standard, pretty much what you'd expect, Spuddington. Nothing out of the ordinary so far.
Yeah, indeed. Although I will say that Thresh was changed in the last patch. They moved the damage passive from his Q to his E. So I am actually curious because that might have somewhat decreased the playability of his the extreme power in his kit. Odds are though it was probably still not enough to push him off being the top tier support. And Elise is just a very standard, very versatile character to be banned out because she's extremely annoying to deal with.
Yeah, she can basically be played anywhere other than maybe AD carry, so very strong pick, and so it's going to be banned out. Also Zed and Diana, so throughout the EU Challenger Series we've seen these kind of 4 bans coming up time and time again. Zed, pretty self-explanatory, a really good assassin character that can just jump in and obliterate someone similar to a Kha'Zix. Speaking of which, I am curious if they're going to ban D-Man's Kha'Zix out this game, because both games so far he has been a beast on Kha'Zix, and there you go, the ban has came in from British Tea Time.
Yeah, not at all surprising. He did an absolutely phenomenal job, indeed. Phenomenal job of carrying that last game with that Kha'Zix. Pretty much held his team in it for long enough for them to then come back with that excellent split push from that Shen and that peeling away from the Lulu and the rest of them. So it was an incredibly good showing from that setup. But yeah, obviously, and finally that Twisted Fate ban is also a very standard ban.
Yeah, it's been picked up time and time again thus far in the tournament, so not too surprised to see Twisted Fate eliminated from this one. Let's have a quick look how it's going to go. In fact, mentioning Twisted Fate, Cook My Sock picked him up in game 1, I believe, and did really nice work for British Tea Time. So again, maybe a targeted ban there. It's going to be first pick to British Tea Time. A few pretty strong characters available, Spud, so it's going to be interesting. Got about 8 seconds to go to lock that first pick in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they go for here. I very much doubt they'll be going for that actual mid pick, but they might go for a support here. That tends to be, it's either the support or the jungler usually you see first because they're the hardest to counter, although Rumble walks into a bar and there was no counter, although actually it wasn't Rumble, it was Sona. But, yes, sorry, Sona, very versatile support, works well in most lanes. Her only real weakness is just how easily gibbed she is.
Oh, definitely. Early game, she's very susceptible to being completely destroyed, so that's one to watch out for. On the flip side for ESC, looks like they are hovering over the Ezreal and Zyra. Pickup Zyra has been locked in. We've seen Zyra been played support and mid so far in the tournament, so it'll be interesting to see which one they're going to go for this time around. And the Ezreal pick is still lurking. Going to be interesting to see what happens here. Would you go with the Ezreal pick? I mean, a lot of people think he's not really top tier AD carry anymore.
I personally feel that Ezreal still has a niche, but I wouldn't say that his niche was so broad that picking him so early would be wise. He's a very strong and independent AD carry. He keeps himself alive extremely well. He has that range. He has some versatility in his ultimate. He fits well in AoE compositions, and he can also work well in split push or to counter split push with that ultimate to clear wave. But obviously he's not been picked up. He is a very strong character though, in that he can keep himself alive much better than your average AD carry, and in fact probably more than any other AD carry. Still, Zac pickup is not that surprising there from ESC. Seen a lot of Zac thus far as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Zac has been played from memory 4 or 5 times so far in the tournament, so been a very frequent pickup, as has Sona. Probably Caruso I'd expect to go with the Zac in the jungle. On the flip side, they have elected Shen, not quite locked it in yet. Haven't seen Shen a great deal, to be completely honest. And there's the Varus lock-in. To be honest, I think Varus is the most picked AD carry thus far in the EU West Challenger Series. He's been picked time and time and time again.
Wouldn't surprise me at all, no. He's certainly extremely strong against pretty much any situation. He fits very well into most team compositions. The only way he is not good is in his lack of escape. He has very high damage in all stages of the game, has good crowd control, good peeling, good wave clear. He's just excellent all around, other than the fact that he doesn't have an escape, which is a problem. But there is actually a locked in Ezreal. So I'm a little bit curious about that, but it could just be because there is a lot of CC on the pickup team from BTT here. They have got that Shen, they have got that Varus ultimate, they have got Sona to follow that up as well, and it's an incredibly difficult composition to keep yourself alive as an AD carry. So obviously Ezreal has that escape, and I'd be very surprised if they pick Sion.
Ezreal is an interesting pick here because you have to say that Varus's weaknesses are Ezreal's strengths. He's the king of repositioning. He can just lurk around on the outside of the team fight, constantly spamming his mystic shots and try and stay clear. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. We've seen Varus time and time again this tournament taking the Blade of the Rune King first, which again is kind of picked up due to his lack of maneuverability. If he gets nuked down quickly, he can pop the Blade of the Rune King and get away safely. And you also have the Rumble lock-in. Again, Rumble has been picked frequently thus far.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the current state of the balance of the game, there's very much a top tier of characters who are just being seen over and over again, and then you maybe kind of occasionally dip down into maybe a tier 2, such as, in fact, Nautilus, who we've seen, I think, maybe once before this tournament. He is actually a very strong jungler at the moment. Doesn't look like they're going to be going for that anyway, but Rumble is just a really strong top laner at the moment. He is incredibly hard to push out, and he is such a lane bully. Obviously scales incredibly well with just magic penetration, has that burn from Leandries is extremely strong on him, and yeah, just all around very powerful character, very hard to deal with in that laning phase.
Well, they actually didn't elect to go for Nautilus. We saw Nautilus in the first game, did a really magnificent job, but they've gone for the Volibear Orianna combination. Very strong and potent. Rolling Thunder from Volibear is going to get him right up in the grill of the opposition. Shockwave on top of him. It could spell curtains for ESC. Again, dependent very much on the execution, but they're going to go and try and lock in their 5th pick, which, if I have a quick look, oh, never mind, apparently the lobby has just been quit, so not too sure what's going on here. Hopefully there's going to be an explanation pretty soon.
Could have been some kind of mispress. Alternately, they would have had to have used a placeholder pick, at which point they would have, just ended up swapping it around anyway. But that could be a variety of reasons. But anyway, no, I should actually mention here, for the benefit of the chat, no, Lissandra is banned in this tournament because she is too recently added to the game. And obviously, we don't want to risk having anything that's horrendously overpowered, distorting your tournament before players even really know how to set themselves up. I have actually, I remember casting a tournament, I can't remember which one it was, but immediately after Diana came out, and that was the Diana show, where that was picked up. But anyway, we are going to be going back into the lobby.
I mean, Lissandra right now, judging from the champion select and some of the gameplay I've seen, looks ridiculously strong. So it's understandable that she's not going to be allowed to be played this tournament today. Important to note, the reason they actually quit the lobby is because they mentioned that the Orianna is actually going to be Ahri, so it was a placeholder pick. That's the reason why they left in the end. So we are going to be getting the picks very quickly here. Again, Sona, and she had Varus alongside her and Shen as well. Looked to be top lane. And on the opposition, Zyra, Zac. They had Ezreal. Let's think if memory serves me right. And they'd also picked up a Rumble, I think, on their last pick.
Yeah, Rumble obviously was picked up. I didn't talk quite at length about that. And obviously Ahri, I know Cook My Sock loves his Ahri. He's played a lot of Ahri, and he is a really solid Ahri player. Obviously they're going to be locking that in. So obviously the full composition is looking very, very strong and very, very mobile. You have got that Shen, you have got that Sona for the movement, you've got Ari, you've got Volibear, really, really solid, quick to get around, and obviously good at setting up combats wherever he wants. So we are potentially now seeing this final pick. I am curious. You're not allowed to pick up Lissandra, sir. But if you did, I don't know what we would do. We'd probably just have to remake the lobby, and that would be annoying. But yeah. So partly my curiosity at the moment, though, is finding out whether it's a support Zyra or not, which at the moment isn't entirely clear.
It isn't, because Kayle, we've seen from MIA in the NA LCS, has been playing Kayle support, so it could potentially be a Kayle support as well. Kayle, of course, can be played in mid, so it's going to come down to the wire here. It's going to need to see which way they switch this one around. Of course, D-Man thus far has been the mid player for ESC, most notably on Kha'Zix. Doesn't look like they're switching this one around, so could very well be a Zyra Ezreal bot lane facing off against Varus and Sona.
Well, that's a good setup, actually, because the common problem with Ezreal, obviously, is that you don't end up with enough damage on your team, enough sustained damage in that late game, but Rumble scales extremely well into that late game with that damage. Obviously, Kayle does the same. Zac, for a tanky character, puts out quite a lot of damage, and Zyra, for a support, obviously, in the end, you just build up some AP, and you just become like another AP carry, so you actually end up with a very solid extra threat added to your team, which fixes quite a lot of the problems that Ezreal suffers from, and obviously he keeps his benefits, he keeps his mobility, he keeps his ultimate. And with that, I think we should be moving into a quick commercial break while this timer ticks down, and we will see you all later.
Strength to carry on. Skies above. I still don't know if I am right, but I know that for your love I'll go to world's end tonight.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to KaostV's live coverage of the EU West Challenger Series number 2. This is the final day, the final game of the day, I should say, and the winner of this will go to face Peculiar Gaming in the finals, which is scheduled for tomorrow. It currently stands to 1-1. It's going to be ESC facing off against the British Tea Time. I'm Edis, joined by Spuddington. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty well right now. Game hasn't quite loaded in for me yet. Here we go.
Same. There we go. We're in now.
Alright, lovely. So now we have... I just wanted to talk for a little bit about these compositions, because the thing that really made me think at the end of Champion Select, but I didn't really think I had time to really talk and elucidate my feelings on it, was that Kayle pickup was actually really quite brilliant, because it's going to be incredibly influential, as I mentioned, actually, in giving them an extra threat to make up for the little lack of damage that Ezreal can have. But I think it also, the Kayle ultimate is going to be incredibly valuable against the style of teamfight engagement that British Tea Time are likely to want. And it does actually look like British Tea Time are going to, well, sorry, ESC are going to be doing a little bit of a jungle invade here. They have put down a ward. It's going to be backing on out. So anyway, because Kayle ultimate is so perfect, if you have the bear, because what they'll want to do, British Tea Time, is they'll have bear running right in, catching onto someone. He'll have Stand United on him. He'll take the brunt of the damage, and then he will just, have that Shen coming out with the taunt. Then you'll have the Sona coming in for that follow-up, locking people down. But the thing is, they're quite likely to only catch 1 or 2 people in that Shen taunt. So if you have that Kayle ultimate, who will then you'll have that ability to just completely nullify all that focus. But anyway, enough about that. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, the best laid plans can always go to waste. And it looks like Ezreal is going to be starting off in that bottom lane against the Varus.
Indeed, and they did manage to get a pretty nice ward there up on British Tea Time's race. So they're going to know Volley Bear's jungling path here and be able to react accordingly. At the golems, while the wolves are taken from Ezreal and Zyra. So indeed it will be a Zyra support as we expected, and you're going to have the standard meta, I guess you could say, with the AD carry and supports both going to bot lane, Ahri against Kayle in mid, and of course that will leave Shen facing off against Rumble at the top.
Yeah, and Shen versus Rumble isn't a particularly difficult matchup for Rumble, I feel. He's not going to have too much difficulty with being bullied out. And in the early game, which is really when you have your window of opportunity against Rumble, his 1-3 is probably one of the weakest of any characters. His only real tool is at that stage is just having that shield available to prevent some damage coming in and having the harpoon to keep people away. But once he's hit maybe level 4, his flame spitter damage really starts to pick up and he gets really mean. Sorry, did I just hear something?
Baz just talking in the background there was a bit strange, but yeah. So let's have a quick look at how the lanes fare. Kayle against Ahri, how's that going to play out, Spud?
So Kayle versus Ahri is a little bit even, actually, to be honest. Neither side is going to really get a huge advantage. Kayle is obviously going to be shoving this lane in. And I just want to make note that Karazo is hanging around bot lane, and actually Bear, J&T Taylor. You keep an eye on bot, I'll keep an eye on mid. We've actually got this going in here. J&T Taylor actually not going to be going to get anything done there in that bot lane.
Yeah, bot is looking like it is an explosive keg ready to blow here. Still, Zach is waiting, lurking in the bush. You do have the slingshot firing up here. The plants do go by as well, forcing a flash from Sona, flashing in as well. They know that she's vulnerable now, has no escape. This is going to be first blood with Ezreal picking it up. Can they turn onto Varus? The answer is a resounding no, but still, the work has been done, and Zach will go back with pride. First blood to Ezreal. Nice start here for ESC.
Yeah, we've actually got the taunt landing on mid there. We've got D-Man now being chased down by Bear. He is very fast. He has flashed for it, has put down the slow, and D-Man flashes over the wall. Ignite did go down, and we got the flash over the wall. Cook my sock, picking it up with that auto attack. Very nicely played. And that was what the can't. Whoa, Karazo coming in from the side there. It's the range on that thing. It just really throws you off because it's just so alarming. And sorry, J&T Taylor is now actually going to be going in on this top lane. Koi is on full heat. He is not going to be able to do very much to put damage down. He has to flip back in. Taunt goes down. Ignite goes down. He is getting burned down very quickly. And another kill there for British Tea Time.
I just want to say, you know, Koi, kind of smart there not to burn Flash right at the end. He knew that he was dead, Ignite was down on him, red buff on top of that, so didn't want to waste the Flash, wanted to keep up for second round. Here we go again, Zyro putting so much damage onto Varus. Look how low he's got, forcing to flash away here. So dangerously low on health, could potentially pick up the kill into Sona. No, they're not. She's going to pull herself back towards the tower, but look at Ezreal already, has such an advantage over the Varus, who's just started the turret wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah, if he gets caught too easily now with that grasping root, he's liable to just straight up die. And obviously Sona is going to be putting in a lot of mana to try and get him back up to a reasonable health. But Yaroslav gets caught and he's actually going to get insta-blown up. That's the danger of being squishy against a Zyra lane, because if you get caught even once, you're liable to die. And Ezreal actually has a lot of follow-up damage if you're locked in place, because there's no way he's going to miss a Mystic Shot on someone who's locked in place, especially if it's an all-in where he's willing to use his Arcane Shift. He can just jump round, get himself into the position, land the punishment with that Q on top of it. We actually have JNT Taylor looking for it, actually. Baroki is dicing with death. If he goes for this, he's in a lot of danger. He's going to try and put that damage down. He is actually probably just going to exchange kills here. Not actually going to do that, though. JNT Taylor is pursuing under the tower, not going to be able to get it.
Very close that. I think Ezreal, just for a split second, was wondering if he should fully commit to Varus, but the alarm bells, the spidey senses would have been tingling, and this wouldn't have made any sense for Varus to 1v1 straight up Ezreal there. So, nice play from him, getting himself out of dodge and recalling now. First blood and 2 kills to his name, 1,600 gold at his disposal to spend. What is he going to pick up first? The answer is going to be... He's really trying to make this climactic. It's going to be a Bilgewater Cutlass, so he's going for that sustain, tiny bit more, and of course the slow on top of that can only be a good thing when you consider that Volibear will be charging through the bushes with Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, Bilgewater Cutlass obviously builds it into Blade of the Ruined King, which will probably be his long-term goal. Will apply that on-hit effect on his Q, which is super nice, adds to his poke, doesn't give him quite the same damage as maybe in terms of flat damage as a Bloodthirster, but if he's planning on just having to kite his way backwards from Volibear, who will build a ton of health most likely, he's going to be okay with that pickup. So we now have Carazo looking for this mid. Cook My Sock is level 6, so odds are he's just going to look to force the ultimate and not really get anything else from this. We have got D-Man taking a lot of poke now. We've actually got them coming in from the side here. Shen actually coming back in. They're going for the counter engage. Cook My Sock going for this. They have got that taunt, who actually misses the D-Man, and he's actually maybe going to get out. Does pop his ultimate. Cook My Sock is just going to follow this along though, and actually misses his Q as well. The auto attack goes down, but Cook My Sock is now incredibly low, and the tower takes him out, and that was brilliant in theory, but so clumsily executed by British Tea Time.
As you said so many times, execution is key. Here comes Zac actually. Shen was caught with his pants down, but Volibear's still there. Going to be bouncing around like a madman. But can Volibear catch up with him? Answer is a no. And still, you have to just quickly flick back to that play there. Ari simply didn't need to die. Had the Q have landed twice, she would have been just fine with the kill.
Chain of Corruption in bot now. Ryman Simon going very low. Shoot up once. There's a teleport in on that ward. We've got incoming Kale, and suddenly Yarostar is going super low, getting jumped incredibly hard by just a Q. Gonna go down to that auto attack from D-Man.
Important to note as well that this has been a really rough start for Yarostar, who's still level 3. Against the Zyra who's 5. Let's have a quick look at Zyra. She's very nearly 6. So Sona could not be any squishier at this point. She is basically a free kill if the grasping roots land. In the meantime, they're going to try and push their advantage. ESC going to go ahead and pick up a free Drake. Looking good.
Yeah, that's always the danger of playing Sona, because if you do start to fall behind, then you get even lower and it becomes even harder to stay alive. And that's a free dragon there taken by ESC. Very nicely played indeed. And I want to put in perspective, the Ezreal Q right now is dealing, what, nearly 200 damage. Sona only has 600 health. You know, he's going to 3 or 4 shot her with just his Q, not counting any auto attack, not counting his E landing, and actually not counting his ult.
And also not counting Zyra's damage, because she deals a fair amount herself in support, so if those grasping roots land, it is going to be a very dead Sona. Either way, let's have a quick look around the rest of the map. We haven't really gave top too much love here. The CS difference pretty much even, just 5 in it, 55 for Rumble, 50 for Shen, and in mid, Ari is on 68 to Kale's 57, but Kale did go bot lane and lost a bit of CS for her troubles there.
There is one small note to take though, which is that the top tower, because Shen obviously teleported away from there, has gone down very, very low. It's on 460 health. So if he's forced to leave his lane now, and Koi isn't just completely pushed into his tower, odds are by the time he gets back there, he'll actually lose the tower. So that's always going to be playing on his mind as to whether he should or should not ult into a team fight when it comes up, which won't be long now, should only be maybe 20 or 30 more seconds, at which point suddenly many options become available. And Eurostar dicing with death there, dodging another grasping roots with a hair. And actually, sorry, now we've got one mid. JNT Taylor is going for this. He does potentially want to go for it, not going to flash it though.
Yeah, because obviously he knows that the intervention from Kale is still up. So even if he did flash in and engage, more than likely not going to secure that kill. Kale with the blue buff, Charm whizzes past ahead, she's going to be just fine. Meanwhile, at top lane, as you said before, Shen's, in fact, hold that thought for a second. I was just seeing the Ezreal ultimate fly past Varus. He's going to be going back on towards Zyra. Nice kill there, but will he get punished from Varus? Pops the barricade. Oh, beautiful ultimate. Stand Unite comes in from Shen, saving the life of his AD carry. Could Sona claim this kill on towards Ezreal? Meanwhile, Volibear's coming around from the side. This should be a very dead Ezreal. Volibear popping the Rolling Thunder. Is the Arcane Shift going to be enough? That is a no, and that's an extremely dead Ezreal. And the
However, yeah, JNT Taylor is committed very deep here. We've got Zach coming in from the side. Nitrix is going to go for this. He's actually just going to jump over the wall. He's going for Eurostar, who is still so squishy. He is bouncing around, doing quite a lot of damage, but not really going to be able to. Actually does take him out with that Q from that Kale off to the side, and now JNT Taylor is on the run, having to flash out as a result of that. And that top tower has gone down, just as I said.
Yeah, as you called, as soon as Shen ultimate spot lane, Rumble's going to go ahead and take top. That's exactly what happened. So let's have a quick look at the gold difference. 17 points UK to ESC, who are on a hot streak after winning the second game. And British Tea Time currently on 15k. So a bit of a gap starting to open. Have to take into account that Drake did go down for ESC, and they're a tower ahead on top of that.
Yeah, they are putting a little bit of a gold advantage out there. I don't know exactly when Dragon is going to spawn. It was taken at 8 minutes, which is a very early Dragon, in fact. But won't be coming up for another couple of minutes yet. And actually, Koi now trading with Taylor in his jungle. He's looking for this flash over the wall. Does manage to get it. Ignite did get blown there by Nitrix, so he's not going to be too upset at that. He did obviously get caught out, but he gave them that knowledge of when that blue buff was likely to be up. And Cook My Sock taking so much burst there from Kale.
Yeah, Kale is pretty damn scary at this point. Has the Stinger coming in once again. She does have the intervention, though. Here comes Volibear from the side, forcing the flash from Kale. So job done from Volibear's perspective. And nice work there. Also, Zac in the meantime has made his way towards mid lane, so are they going to try and make something happen? That's the question. Meanwhile at bot lane, Ezreal and Zyra trying to make something happen themselves.
Cook My Sock. He is going to get jumped on by a blob. And then
dead.
He was puttied. Oh, what a poor soul. So anyway, they are going to be shoving down this bottom tower. Actually, now ESC that is taking a bit of damage out on it, and just gonna keep poking Eurostar, because obviously he hasn't had enough poke this game. Not too upset about it though. He is now starting to get to a point where he has 2 points in his W to get them sustained, and got a Philostone, and also a little bit more base health and armor to withstand the initial damage.
Yep, Drake is up very, very shortly. Ezreal needs about another 200 gold to finish off his Blade of the Ruined King. So probably going to try and farm this one out for a tiny bit longer. Ping's going down from British Tea Time onto Drake, so of course they know that Drake is up very shortly. And who's going to make the move here? It's going to be interesting to see, because obviously Ari did die before. Her ultimate's up, however.
Going to depend a lot on this bottom gank here. Carizo is here. They have got that teleport coming in. D-Man actually had home guard boots going for this dive on shoot up, and they have actually got that Kale ultimate available. He is tanking the tower. By tanking the tower, I mean he's taking no damage at all. Crescendo comes across, so they are actually possibly looking to take someone out here. Brokey is going very, very low. He is going to get out just about though, and now that means I'm pretty sure ESC are gonna have this dragon.
Well, there's the strength of Kale, as you said. The reason why Zac took 0 damage is because intervention was instantly popped on his head. So he was tanking that tower without any problems whatsoever.
Oh, hold
managing
that
to
thought.
secure
Actually,
the kills.
Nitrix up top is going very, very low, and he's just being constantly chased down by Koi. He has popped the equalizer, but didn't actually get the slow off.
Yeah, meantime, you're going to have them coming in towards mid lane. Charm lands on D-Man's face. And that is going to end that one. Here comes Volibear from the side, though, popping down the ward on top of the pink ward. And interestingly enough, Drake wasn't taken after the double kill at bot lane.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that as well. I guess JNT Taylor was still alive, so maybe he could have gone for a some kind of steal, but would have been very, very risky for him to do so. And now that pink ward has actually run out, so BTT are actually now looking to take this dragon, and they have got Shen coming in on JNT Taylor. It looks like ESC are just going to let them have it. Zac might look for a steal over the wall. He has been charmed actually now and is running towards the team. He is now going to get not taunted, actually, not quite, but is being followed out by the rest of the team. But all this time, Rumble is shoving in that top lane, so they need to get someone in there to try and stop him pushing.
Smart play from Rumble, knew he couldn't do anything about Drake, so he's going to put pressure at top lane. The Drake was taken, after all, by JNT Taylor for British tea time, so nice little pickup from them. Let's have a quick look at some of the items. Well, there's a bit of a lull in the action here. The Blade of the Rune King has finally been finished off on Ezreal. For Varus, he's also going for the Blade of the Rune King, but has about 650 gold at his disposal, so he's going to need to farm out for a tiny bit longer. And let's have a look at Ari. She's got a blasting wand and Sork shoes. How much gold? 1,100. So nothing too huge as of yet for either team, and we are 16 minutes through this epic battle.
Yeah, they are doing a very good job of keeping themselves in contention. British Tea Time obviously haven't had the best early game. Yarrowstar obviously is still 0-5, but at this point he's not worth very much gold, so he may not actually be too upset about that. That will enable him to make very risky plays at very little cost. And meanwhile, they are trying to hold on to this mid tower. Cook My Sock, obviously on that Ari, is very good at wave clearing, so he can actually 2v1 for quite some time, especially since he's got that blue. We actually got the taunt going down on D-Man, who goes very low as a result of it. JNT Taylor looking to flip Koi. He has actually got him under the tower there for a second. And that damage is coming out from Ari, who is going to be flashing out of the way with her ult, but not enough. The Q follows her down from D-Man, and they are going to go down as a result.
Yeah, Reckoning too strong there. Nice equalizer from Koi. And the Volibear's actually flashed in and chucked him over his back. It's Ignite back onto Volibear, which is of course going to mess with his passive. Here comes Chef from the side and the intervention as well. Reckoning will be taking down Volibear. 2 consecutive kills for Kale in the same vein. And here comes the kill potentially onto Rumble. Beautiful shield though. Going back on towards Shed. Can Kale pick up this kill? Yes, she can. And that's huge. Absolutely massive from ESC. Means there's going to be nobody in mid, and that's going to be another free tower.
ESC are doing so well from that fight. Unbelievably unfortunate. Not able to get the damage down fast enough to destroy Rumble. And as a result, that Kale ult came down and messed him up. Volibear obviously taken out. It was a 3-0, and they lost the tower. It was such unfortunate play on the part of British Tea Time, and that has put them so far behind. That was a swing of another, what, 2,000 gold from them? And that's nasty to have to cope with.
And the kill's going to Kale. She's finished off the Nash's Tooth and a pickaxe on top of that. So looking very, very scary at this point, especially when you consider that Ari is still on just a blasting one.
Sorry, actually, at bottom, Yarrowstar is getting bursted down by the blob on his face, and that's terrible for him. He's getting damaged quite a lot, though. Karazo is going to go down very quickly, does actually get reduced into bloblets, but now Kale is coming in, Destroyer of Worlds. She is very, very fed and has got that red buff. Any second now she's going to get in range. Brokey coming over the wall, has got that damage onto Tudor. Ult from Sona comes out, locks 2 people down, but not quite quick enough. Believe the Rune King Q a little bit too much burst, and it looks like British Tea Time are still on the back foot.
Yeah, it's looking extremely strong from ESC here. Ari does pop the Spirit Rush and catches the Charm. The mid tower is extremely low here, so she has just finished that one off. Here comes Rumble low. Get the Flame Splitter out. This could be a very dead Ari. Tries to flash away, but will be taken down regardless. In the meantime, bot tower has been finished off from ESC. They are just picking up the global objectives left, right, and center, and 9 kills ahead. This is massive.
Yeah, they are doing really, really well. And now JNT Taylor actually getting attacked by Karazo. We've got Rhyme and Simon coming in, throwing in the plant. Nothing too huge coming out there, but For all that though, Shen is still in this game, and he is still obviously the comeback king because he can keep that split push and keep you having a man advantage. And we've got Yerostar firing a Q power chord actually across the entire map there to hit Zac in the face back on his spawn pad when he recalled. But Nitrix has shoved that wave into the tower, but not able to take it out. D-Man too threatening. D-Man going to just clear the wave very, very quickly. He has a lot of damage, and I'm actually thinking he might be building a Rage Blade.
Yeah, Guinsu's Rage Blade, very, very possible. The pickaxe, of course, the blasting one on top of that just needs to finish the recipe off. So it could be very, very interesting. Nice attempt at a steal here from Zyra. Just irritating Volibear more than anything else. And he will be pulling himself back. So looking very, very strong here. We are going to have Rumble going in towards Shen. Meantime, Varus has managed to pick up a tower. Having said that, Zac and Ezreal are in hot pursuit. There is a ward down here, so he knows that he's being chased down.
Oh, JNT Taylor is in that top lane. He is going to be following this Koi. He is going to toss him backwards. Then the taunt lands. It's just like happened very early on. The equalizer goes down, and it looks like he might be looking to just try and escape this Koi that is going away from them. And JNT Taylor will soon get his charge back up. Gonna be going for that flip, gonna be going for that slow. And now we actually have a teleport coming in, D-Man, and it looks like they don't want to challenge this. They don't want to risk it. He might be able to burst him down very, very quickly. I'm not actually sure D-Man could burst him down quite quickly. He is very, very fed, but certainly not something they wanted.
But the Rolling Thunder and Taunt will be devastating to Kayle here if Volibear could have caught up, wasn't able to do so. And it just turns out, you know, they banned out Kha'Zix for D-Man. He picks up Kayle and is just as good, if not better. He is completely dominating this game so far. Look at the damage he's doing to Shen, who's very, very tanky at this point.
Yeah, it's an incredibly good showing, and actually I did not notice, but Chewed Up and Cook My Sock both died off camera for me. Crescendo actually going down there. JNT Taylor looking for this engage here. He's going to try and flip into run in time. The ultimate has come from Zyra, and it is going to keep him not quite alive. And bouncing around is not going to be able to get him out actually, and Yerostar going very, very low, gets hit by the Zyra passive, and actually it's only a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, this has been a really rough game for Sona from the very beginning. 6 deaths now after just 21 minutes. And Drake has respawned once again. Our ESC going to be trying to take this one right off the bat. Only time will tell. Kayle has 1,200 gold and is going back. So is she going to go ahead for the Rage Blade? More than likely the case. Let's have a look. Riley's Crystal Scepter has been finished off, and indeed the Rage Blade has been built on Kayle. She is going to be attacking fast and furious and dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah, that at the moment is telling me that she is basically planning in these fights to ult herself more than anyone else, because Rage Blade obviously is the item for, that's an invisible blue buff she's attacking, that it is the item for successive attacks, for keeping up that damage and just putting out a constant amount. If you get interrupted halfway through, however, if you're forced to back out from the fight, that can be a serious problem. But obviously running that Ezreal, who is obviously not going to be needing that ult nearly as often as other AD carries would, resultantly Kayle will have the opportunity to put out those more often on herself, so she'll be able to keep herself in the fight. And Yerostar just starting the dragon there for the opposition, who are just going to carry it on. They do have that pink ward. I'm going to clear out a ward as a result, and Brokey is actually fighting Nitrix up top. He is actually going to put down the Ignite though. The Sunfire keeps putting out quite a lot of damage on Brokey, but he doesn't want to chase out of this tower. He has actually got red buff, so Nitrix is in a bit of a spot, but Shield is going to keep him alive. And now we have the fight at Dragon. We've got JNT Taylor going in. The smite does actually come out from Zac, and we've got D-Man going down very, very low. Cook My Sock manages to get over the wall and back again. Does manage to pick up that kill onto Zyra, who, sorry, not Zyra, the other one, who is a very important kill, and actually manages to stay alive as well. So British Tea Time actually coming back strong in that dragon fight. Didn't manage to get the dragon itself, and meanwhile Brokey did kill Shen up top.
Yeah, huge plays here. 2-for-2 exchange. Zyra's being chased. Actually, Stranglethorns goes down. Is Zac going to be able to come to the rescue here? The Ignite's gone down as well. Here comes Zac from the side, doing lots of damage. Nice passive hit as well from Zyra, but a beautiful crescendo could be enough to save the Varus, who flashes through the wall. Big plays from Soda. Had a rough start, but definitely making amends for it right there.
Yeah, Sona is one of those characters where so long as she has her ultimate, she's always going to be a relevant factor. That being said though, Brokey, having killed that Shen, then pushed out that top tower as well. So I think the goal difference has probably increased even further in the favor of ESC, which is going to be even worse for British Tea Time. They might not be able to catch up Kayle as they did in that last fight ever again, because she was obviously caught off guard by Ari coming in over the wall. And if you don't catch her off guard, she's always going to be able to ult herself, which is just so hard to deal with.
Absolutely. So let's have a quick look at some of the other items that are being built up around the map. Just seeing the Seeker's Arm Guard onto Rumble, who also has the Riley's Crystal Scepter and the Haunting Guys. So interesting build there. Fairly standard overall. Shen's got the Sunfire Cape. Hold that thought for a second, because here comes Kayle and Ezreal through mid. Not going to be committing to the kill though onto Ari, and the slingshot from Zac will go awry. So just pushing Ari back, but nothing huge going on right now. Seems just like a bit of pressure. In fact, hold that thought, because the charm has landed on towards Ezreal, forcing the intervention instantly just to save his skin. And Ari's going to go back in once again with the Spirit Rush, but doesn't look like they're actually going to follow up on this one just yet.
Yeah, that was actually possibly an ill-advised Spirit Rush there, but Brokey actually going very low. He's actually in danger from Yarostar, picking up the kill streak with the Flash Q power chord. Incredibly well played there by Yarostar, and very, very ballsy indeed. He is now worth gold, which could be a minor factor against him, but obviously picking up that kill streak on Ezreal is a super good windfall for them.
Yeah, that would have felt good. That would have boosted the confidence somewhat and put some fuel in the tank for Sona. And of course, with Ezreal being down for 15 seconds, that could very well free up the Baron. Here comes Volibear with Varus, Shen, Sona, and now Ari joining the fray. Baron around half HP. Kayle is waiting in the wings, but there is a couple wards down there. Nice vision here from British Tea Time. The equalizer's gone in. Volibear will take the Baron. Will they try and engage after this? The answer, a resounding no. Both teams going to pull back, but that is a nice pickup. Both the AD carry with the reward gold and the Baron to boot. Looking good for British Tea Time. Could this be the beginning of their comeback?
Hudson closed the gold gap very significantly. There's still about 2,000, but while they have that Baron buff, you can officially say they are effectively ahead on items. Even though obviously it's not an actual item, it is just a buff. But Kayle having to use that intervention was huge back then, and now it means that Ezreal is a little bit further behind than he wanted to be. He hasn't yet. He is actually going for a very well scaling build into that late game, but right now it's probably not going to give him as much damage as that typical AD caster style of build you tend to see on Ezreal's. But obviously Infinity Edge, Blade of the Ruined King is something you actually see quite often on characters like Misfortune if they're going for an auto-attack focus build, but D-Man actually putting a lot of damage down on Nitrix up top. Nothing actually going to come of it though.
Yeah, he has already added a needlessly large rod to his arsenal of weapons, so looking very, very good for him. Do you think he's going to take that into Rabadon's Death Cap, or will he go Zhonya's Hourglass with it?
I'd imagine that given that he's built that Rage Blade, given that he's got so much Nash's Tooth, so much attack speed, he's built around kind of sustained damage more than a burst damage. So while his Q does do a lot of burst, he's much better suited to just staying around, and his ult is much more useful to him than a Zhonya's in that respect, because Zhonya's obviously cancels him from being able to do any auto attacks for its duration. And Ryman Simon may be looking for a catch here. He is sitting around that corner, and that Grasping Root, if it catches on to Cook My Sock, could be followed up very quickly. Taunt goes down though, does actually hit Zac, but Cook My Sock not going to be taking too much damage, and neither will anyone else. But while all this is going on, Nitrix is shoving in Tom.
Yep, he indeed is. Here comes Kayle from the side, just going to be farming out the creeps. And important to note that Ari actually has a Rabadon's Death Cap and a Deathfire Grasp. Going to be going back on towards Shen again here, putting down some pain with the Righteous Fury. And pings are going down. So with Baron buff, it's basically transformed the British Tea Time into somewhat of a bully. They're just pushing the side lanes. Shen's tanking the tower. He doesn't care a great deal about that. And they know that if Ari lands a charm, they can transition that into a crescendo and all hell will break loose.
Yeah, super scary if you're up against that. But then again, they do have to be very careful. If they get Ari caught, if they get chewed up on that Varus caught, then that will be a serious problem. And even Nitrix could get caught and pinned down by Kayle here. If he gets into a position where he's already used his taunt and Kayle has the position to follow up on him with that sustained damage, then he will actually bleed out very, very quickly to her damage. He can't, she cannot pursue him for a very long distance though. He will obviously have that taunt to put the distance between them. But right now, it's looking like British Tea Time are having a bit of a problem actually cracking this turtle shell. They are just They put a little bit of poke down on that middle turret, but the Baron buff is already, what, 80% done?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Shen's tried to split push, but Kael's just stood there, and she's so quick at getting rid of those waves. Drake has gone down already in a heartbeat, but because of the Righteous Fury alongside the Gwynso's Rage Blade and the Nash's Tooth, just look how quickly she chunks through these creep waves. It's just a few seconds and they're dead. Very difficult for Shen to split push, have a fed Kael all up in your face.
Yeah, I somewhat wonder though whether British Tea Time could have done better by actually forcing that top tower, because the thing was, they were pressuring that mid tower, but Kael is so quick to move between mid and bottom. With that speed buff that she has inbuilt into her kit, and with her innate movement speed, she would actually be able to get to a 4-on-5 fight if they engaged under the tower. If they had gone for that top tower, then obviously they could have had that bear going under the tower, they could have had that Shen ult coming in from bot on top of him, and that would have been a really, really powerful influence. They would have obviously been able to just pressure a lot harder and not had to worry about Kael managing to reach the fight in time. Although she does actually have those home guard boots and teleport herself. That's the point. That's the thing. Sorry. Thinking aloud there. She has Summoner Teleport. She could always follow Shen.
Yeah, indeed. And it is going to be Rabadon's death cap that Kael elects to pick up with the needlessly large rod. On the flip side, Ari has just gone back and picked up a Negatron Clog, and blasting one more than likely going to build into an Abyssal Scepter and just be that little bit more scary.
Nitrix, he is actually taking a lot of damage there. D-Man is going to be trying to follow it up, but no. He ain't got nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to burst through Shen's tankiness. He has quite a few items here. The Spirit Visage Charm very nearly landing in the corner of my eye there on towards Zyra, but not quite. But yeah, I mean, Shen's got the Spirit Visage. He's also got a Hex Drinker, a Giant Spell, and a Sunfire Cape. He's building very much to counter this Kael.
Yeah, well, it does look like Kael's role in these fights is going to be to just try and counteract Shen, and actually now getting a bit caught out. We got the crescendo going down, the taunt actually misses as a result. D-Man flashes over the wall, has not yet blown his ultimate though, so he is going to be getting really aggressive again. Going to be going under the tower, back in towards Nitrix. Ezreal comes across them, but it's not going to do too much damage. And now it looks like Zac might be looking for this engage.
It's interesting that they burnt the Equalizer and True Shot barrage there, because Kael had already flashed. I mean, she was already pretty much safe, has the intervention as well. Maybe just trying to put some pressure and some kind of hurt down on the opposition, but didn't really do a great deal. So obviously at this point, British Tea Time are thinking, great, you know, two of those ultimates, the big damage dealers, are down from the opposition. Maybe we can play a bit more ballsy. But instead, actually, they're going to have a couple players recalling back towards spawn and pretty much just rinse and repeat this farming frenzy. However, ESC are now electing to push down mid, and the mid tower is pretty low.
Shoot Up is in a bit of a spot. He has been forced to flash by that Kael. He is only down at half health. If he takes that route though back to that mid, then he's liable to just die straight up, and it looks like they're going to continue this pressure now. Yarrow's dog is very low. The Elastic Slingshot actually whiffs slightly, but Cook My Sock is coming in from the side. He might just blow up that ultimate, but it's taking a lot of damage. That mid tower gun went down so unbelievably fast, and now the JNT Taylor does not have the health to go in, and he is being pushed back. Being ulted by Shen, he is going to go down very quickly, but not actually taken out. Locket popped, and now we have Chewed Up on the side here, putting out all the damage in the world, and Caruso actually is not going to be able to get out very easily. Nitrix is going to try and follow this up. Brokey is now in the situation, and Kael will eventually get caught. We actually got the ultimate flash combo from Cook My Sock, and it looks like they're going to be able to take that, and now they're pinging Baron again.
Well, this is pretty scary for ESC. At one point they were looking very, very strong, pushing with confidence and conviction, but suddenly it backfires. A 1-3 exchange there, and the 4-player strong lineup going to be pushing mid very aggressively. They could potentially take an inhib from this if they get a move on, because just Zac is currently defending. Kael is going to rejoin, so perhaps not going to get through to the inhib, but possibly going to take down the tower here. Kael putting down lots of damage on towards Shen. Are they going to try and make something happen here? They do take down the tower, and they're going to elect to back off, which is the smart play. No reason to play too ballsy, too aggressive. If they get aced or lose a couple players, it would be a free Baron for ESC.
Yeah, Eurostar is now going to make sure that Baron is warded to prevent that revenge Baron coming in. But it looks like there is actually a serious risk that ESC are going to go for it anyway. Zyra does not have an Oracle's Elixir at the moment though, and it actually looks like Nitrix get forced to not recall, and Chewed Up is now being aggressed on here by that Zac. He is actually going to turn it around. They're doing a lot of damage, and the ultimate is forced again from Kael, overcommitting there from ESC to that damage on Chewed Up.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame from Kael's perspective. She's burning a lot of interventions just to save people who get caught, but the Baron has been started. Here comes the Big Bear. Volibear taking point. Doesn't have a great deal of support. Only Varus. Nice equalizer there, actually. Just locking up Varus, keeping the opposition away. Rumble also tanking the face of a couple of the players. Very, very nice play there, securing the Baron for themselves. And now ESC look incredibly strong again, cruising down the highway in cruise control at the driving wheel. Honestly, it's going to be difficult to see how British Tea Time can pull themselves back now, because in every single team fight up until this point, ESC have looked remarkably strong. Add Baron on top of that, it just gets even stronger.
Yeah, it is certainly looking dangerous for them. In defense, though, they do have the potential to win these team fights. We did see it on that middle inhib tower, although that was partly because ESC overcommitted, but we do still have this potential for them to try and stall. They will almost certainly lose that middle inhibitor, though. That's going to put some pressure on them, but they won't actually just straight up die from it. It's not going to ruin them completely. And obviously, once that middle inhibitor is done, then it becomes a little bit harder for ESC to force objectives. They will obviously go for that mid inhib first, then probably look for that top or that bottom. Shen is currently clearing the wave at bot, which will prevent them from going for that as easily. And then I suspect we're going to be seeing... Actually, Koi actually potentially getting caught out. Does flash the crescendo, though, so not going to be a disaster there.
Yeah, but the crescendo is down, so another big tool here for British Tea Time is out of the equation. Equalizer has been used on towards Ari. Is she going to pop the Spirit Rush? Doesn't look likely just yet, firing out the Q. And will be just fine for now. Meanwhile, Kael is at bot lane, pushing against the Shen. The inhib is very much exposed, and the Baroned up team of ESC looking to try and make use of this. Rumble taking point alongside Zac. Lots of tankiness for Ezreal to exploit here. 9 for 3, has nice items behind him, and of course the Baron buff. Bot tower has gone down, so they're doing a much better job already with Baron than you have to say British Tea Time did. Already picking up towers, already putting a lot of pressure on the map.
That taunt didn't quite land on D-Man, but now Nitrous is actually in a really bad spot. Hextrinker has popped, and then we have D-Man going under the tower fully. Yero start going very, very low, and that's actually a fight in mid as well. Koi is going to be putting down a lot of damage on Julep, who's going to be getting out of there. Cook My Sock doesn't actually manage to get out, and it does look like this is going to be 2 inhibs going to be going down at least, if not the Nexus pressure now from ESC, who have dominated this game pretty well. We have had some good efforts from British Tea Time, and they might be looking to put out another one here. A lot of home guard boots on their team, and that ultimate is still up on Kael, so they dare not engage anyone.
Yeah, home guard on the majority of British Tea Time. Very, very quickly there to try and stave off the onslaught onto the inhib. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't manage to do so, but they are still in the game. Top tower is pushing actually pretty aggressively with a big creep wave, but Rumble is en route, more than likely going to get there in time. In fact, of course he is. With the flame split, they're going to clear that wave very, very quickly. True Shot Barrage comes across as well. So at this point, Spuddington, what can British Tea Time do to try and get themselves back in this game? Because they've got 2 inhibs down. They're looking very, very squishy, to say the least, in these team fights. I mean, Kael is literally 2-shotting Sona at this point. It's very, very scary times. What can they do?
Literally, all they can try and do is to get picks. They know what ESC are going to be doing. They know ESC are probably going to try and take that top inhib. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to set up a trap in that upper jungle. If they can try and pick someone off, force, say, a very key ultimate from, Zyra or from Kael, then maybe they could get something done, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that. They dare not go in there because they don't already have the vision, and now it's ESC who have the potential to catch someone out. How can they directly teamfight? It's almost impossible for them. Varus is putting out more damage than Ezreal, though, at the moment. I would say that much, as they're saving Grace, but they've got to try and do something here. This tower is going to go down at this rate.
Yeah, this is Last Chance Saloon. Gonna Volibear flashing in, and the Rolling Thunder. Beautiful crescendo this time around, but Equalizer instantly used back on. Stranglethorns as well. Rumble goes down. See if they can do anything else here. Kael's gone down. This is looking very, very good for British Tea Time at this point. T1000 comes out once again as the Globers try and pull themselves together, but the shutdown comes down. First actual death for Zac 38.5 minutes down. That is a 3-for-0 exchange, and as we're talking about how can British Tea Time pull themselves back in this game, they go and make the impossible slightly more possible.
Oh,
Varus
off,
could
actually.
be taking down the Zyra here, but not going to happen. She manages to get herself away.
So, extremely nice fight there. However, it was completely predicated on the fact that JNT Taylor blew his flash to make that engagement happen. He flipped someone in, then that was the start of the fight that they needed, and it was exactly what they wanted. It worked out so well for them, but the problem is now, I mean, actually Ari put out a heck of a lot of AoE damage across the entire team fight as well, but the problem is now, although that removed Baron buffs, although that removed several people, although that gave them a little bit of extra gold, they still have those open inhibs. Baron will come up relatively shortly, unless I am very much mistaken. Let me just check that. 34-18 it went down, so therefore 41-18 it will be coming up. So it will be, yeah, nearly a little bit more than a minute. So obviously ESC are going to have a lot of control over that. There will be that extreme pressure from those double inhibs being down, and that's going to make it very hard for British Tea Time to contest that Baron. They can't afford to let another Baron go though. They can't rely on another fight going as well as that last one did, because if they don't get a really good engage, odds are they're going to lose.
Another thing to note as well, which could be a big factor as to why ESC lost that fight, is I checked this as soon as the fight finished, Kayle didn't use her ultimate. Intervention was not used. She didn't get a chance to pop that one. So had that have came out, who knows, could have been a completely different result. But either way, they are going to just go straight back again, not being deterred from the previous team fight errors. And very, very nearly taking down this tower. This is looking really precarious at best for British Tea Time. Last tower, 118 HP remaining. And look at Kayle sneakily pushing in the bot this whole time with the super minions, so they're going to be caught in two mines now. British Tea Time, look at the damage already on Sona, just one reckoning, and they are now going to start to push on towards the top tower. Very, very low HP. There it goes down, and that's the last inhib very much exposed here. Volibear's going to be going back in again. Can't afford to get poked too much because Ezreal's doing a fair amount of damage. The Chain of Corruption has been popped in. Zhonya's Hourglass instantly afterwards, and the Stranglethorns as well. Rumble's going to go down very, very fast here. Volibear and Shen are just attacking the back line. Zyra's going to fall down. Ari with beautiful damage. Spirit Rush has been popped off. How much damage can she do onto Ezreal? The answer is not much. In the meantime, though, Kayle's going to be wrecking faces at the back and also taking down the Nexus for a beautiful play there. The whole time they were chasing after ESC's remaining players, Kayle is just taking everybody out. That's going to be a 2-for-1.
It was way... They actually engaged a good fight there, but what they should have done was when they got the advantage, when they had pushed back ESC, they needed to then back out and deal with Kayle, because Kayle just kept on pushing and she destroys towers with that build unbelievably fast. Took out that tower, took out the other Nexus tower, and then she took out Sona, and then she took out the Nexus. So very nicely played there by D-Man, and really, honestly, MVP for D-Man. He did an incredibly good job, and I think that does mean that ESC have triumphed over BTT in this final, semi-final. The finals should be tomorrow, but still, very, very nicely played indeed.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that British Tea Time got greedy for kills. They kind of, the red mist descended and they just wanted flat out kills. The bloodlust was insatiable. In the meantime, Kayle's just like, okay, you can kill my team members. I don't really care because the Nexus is vulnerable. I'm going to take that out and win the game for my team. So basically, as it goes, beautiful play from D-Man. Every single game, even though they lost the first one, he was still phenomenal. He had like 14 kills at one point with Kha'Zix. Really, really strong play. Definitely MVP of today for me. And they are going to go to face off Peculiar Gaming, as you said before, in the finals, which will be coming up tomorrow. I'm not... Is it a best of 3 or a best of 5? Because something tells me it's a best
of 5. Yeah, it's a best of 5 that will be going on tomorrow. I think it should be roughly the same time, might be half an hour earlier. Start up. Check the Reddit thread when we post it, which we will inevitably do. But anyway, that's it for today's games. If you have enjoyed my casting, and in fact, this will be plugging time, because I have been joined today by Metas. I have also separately been joined by Broken Shard, and Pulse was also casting today in addition to myself. I am Spuddington. My Facebook, it is facebook.com /, I can't say those two words together, / Spuddington Casts, and I have a Twitter which is @Spuddington. Metas, what do you have?
Facebook.com /MetasTV and YouTube.com /MetasTV. But it's also important to note, Spud, that we have a giveaway to be doing as well before we go off. Yeah, for a Turtle Beach headset. So I'm going to drag Broken Shard and Mr. Pulse into the channel, and we're going to get this underway, ladies and gents. So stay tuned, stay live with us here.
Hi.
So, hey Broken. Does anyone know exactly the process of this giveaway? Because I'm not entirely sure and I don't want to give false information.
I have no idea. We'll have to let. There's Moss.
Yeah,
Let's go for it.
Give me a sec, because my mic seems to have gone down in level again. There we go. Better. Yeah, so, I mean, one way, we can just do a random number giveaway, which means that it'll be extremely random and someone can run away with a headset. But the problem is, if we, do a giveaway with a question and an answer, then it doesn't come down to the randomness, but to the speed and whomever knows the answer to the question. So, what do you guys think? Should we just keep the luck factor all the way, or
you could always
I think we
make
should ask the question: how many AMAs has Broken Shard made? And first person who gets the right answer.
What was it? What was it? I-Series 307. So
God.
Anyway, if my own personal vote would be to make sure that only people that are actually paying attention can do it. So could we set it up so that, say you just have to type a number into chat or something like that, and then everyone who enters that is in for in like a draw?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but that's the problem, because there's no way that we can then filter those people out for asking. Well, the only thing we can do is we can do a random number, but in the end you only get one person out of that random number. So if we do the question first, then we get how many people that get the question right? See what I mean?
We could ask them. We could also ask them how many times Chaos has streamed the Challenger series. I've actually been following us.
That might not be a difficult question to answer.
Well, either way,
number 2 and all.
Either way.
Yeah, but it's not the second. It's not the second stream.
Matters. Giving the answer away.
That is true, actually. It is not
true.
It is not necessarily a stream number,
but before before we go on, it is important to note that you cannot win the headset if you're not following, and we'll see that if whatever we do in a couple of minutes, maybe hopefully seconds, whatever we do, we'll see if you're following or not. If you're not following, then we'll do another one, so you're automatically disqualified. So
Ben Hammer.
Alternatively, what we could do is direct people to the Facebook, and then we could do a draw over there, because that way we would know 100% and it would be more clean.
Yeah, but this is all automatic, dude. I don't want to make it too hard,
Alternatively, you can get on your knees.
Oh. And then?
I think I'll let you guys decide what happens.
No,
then.
but you know what I'm just gonna do? I'm just gonna start a random number giveaway. Keep the luck factor, not make this too hard. It shouldn't be too hard for people to win stuff, I think. So it should be starting in a couple of seconds. It says the random giveaway is about to begin in 15 seconds. So this is more get ready for chat spam.
Just remember, guys, that you have to be also liking the Kaostv Facebook, so if you go over there, take a look at that, and like that before you go ahead and put your number in, which will be now.
Oh god. By the way, guys, just to let you know, TSM does not count as a number, so if you spam TSM, you'll just get style points. I'm just gonna do that. TSM!
There should be a follow button below the in the new layout. It's below the stream, right? Aqua Tears 1, but it says Aqua Tears does not follow this channel, so I am sorry, that is giveaway number 1 done. I'm just gonna wait till the chat dies down, so chat, hold up.
Chat, shut the
Why?
fuck.
Wait, why are you typing?
Stop, everyone stop, Stop!
Stop!
Stop! Dad,
I somehow doubt this will work.
Yeah,
this whole
stop.
telling people to do things thing. It seems to work out so well usually.
Oh no, stop!
Can we put it into like subscriber mode or something? Or just,
Yeah,
like,
but the problem
mod
is
only mode.
the problem is the slow mode, subscriber mode sometimes bugs out a tad, and then if you can't get it back, then it's gonna be a pretty mod-centric giveaway.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Hammer time.
so
Increases my chances significantly.
because
Ah!
just to say
Right, okay,
again,
so-
guys,
Hammer
make
time.
sure to follow, and I just need to double check it. Can anyone pull up the new layout? Because I'm in dashboard at the moment. We need to know where that follow button is. Then I'll show
The
it on
follow
stream.
button is in
Actually,
the bottom left.
bottom
big
left.
purple button.
Big-
Just below the VOD, the video. It's yeah, bottom left.
Okay. Well, if people, you know, we have like I think 6 to 8 seconds delay. So by the time that they hear this, I shall be running a new giveaway. So make sure you press that follow button in the bottom left first, and then go on. Here we go again. Start giveaway. Waiting to see who wins.
I'd like to give credit to Banana, for giving me that MC Hammer joke.
I didn't even hear the MC Hammer joke,
I
nor
didn't get
would I
it, but
choose to
okay.
again. Don't take that as a solicitation. But by the way,
Oh, here we go
I
again.
don't know if we actually plugged Pulse and Broken Shard's social media.
Well, if you plug it in the chat now, it'll be gone in like 2 point. Oh, okay. We got a winner.
Less
We got a
than
winner.
second. Yeah, I do happen to agree.
We got a winner that is actually following at the moment. So
Whoa. So people could stop spamming at this point.
Okay,
because
chat, you
it's
can
pointless
stop.
now.
Why is nature spamming numbers?
there, subscribers
Damn
only
it,
mode.
nature.
So I will be sending the person that I will start pasting, as in I won't start pasting him obviously.
You're gonna start pasting it, buddy.
No, this person's one Yesuway something underscore. But I'll send you a message, and you can reply to that Twitch message, and the message will be named giveaway. Please send us your contact details, such as, and etc. 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 You get the rest.
I guess.
Alright, so anyway,
That was a
I'm going to
pretty good
plug my social media in the chat then, since I
No!
already said it.
No!
Too bad.
No!
Deal with it. You can do it as well. You know,
No!
it's a jolly old
No. I don't wanna. Why do you mute your mic all the time?
It's because I have it bound to apostrophe. So whenever I type in an at or an apostrophe, it happens, which is a very poorly thought out. But I never thought I would use apostrophe when I configured it, and now it's just too much of a habit to change.
32 likes, son. Get on my level.
No, I'd rather not. Actually, I'd rather would, but I can't, so I won't. There you go. Take that. That's me sticking it to the man.
Wow, you really
Get
showed
wrecked.
him.
Yes, showed him so hard.
Damn,
So,
I feel so rebelled against. It's unreal.
Take it.
Congrats,
like a
lower
man.
underscore something something.
But guys, in all seriousness, if I can speak properly, thank you very much for tuning in today. We have a best of 5 tomorrow between Peculiar Gaming and ESC Gaming. It's going to be awesome. And how much is up for grabs? Is it $450?
400.
The winner? $400 to the winner.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. What time's that starting?